Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
And this is Mac.
And this is our spooky Halloween episode. Ooh.
Ah. Scared me.
Yeah.
Mac is not scared.
Everybody should be frightened because I don't know reasons. It's Halloween. We're recording an episode and it happens to be Halloween, so this is just our Halloween episode by default. And so
you haven't said the actual title yet, and that's what's been bothering me. I've just been waiting for it.
That was literally my next sentence, Mac.
Well, hurry the hell up.
Well, no, now I want to delay it.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you probably already clicked on it because of the title. I don't know if there's a way to listen to this show without knowing the title of the episode.
Maybe if you're like, you listen to it with your friend and your friend like clicks on it and then turns the audio on for you and it's a complete surprise every time. Whatever.
That's what I do. I listen to podcasts with other people.
Yeah.
We just sit around the radio in the living room.
As in the olden days.
Yes, this episode is Frankenstein's Rikishi. Sorry, Frankenstein's Rikishi.
Damn it, you ruined the joke.
I ruined the joke for you.
I hate
There
you.
it is.
Just go on with the show.
Joke still worked for the rest of us, Mac.
Yeah, I know.
So what we are going to be doing, we are going to be literally tearing to shreds each and every Rikishi and then piecing together the perfect sumo Rikishi, one that would dominate even Hakuho for years to come. We are going to create the absolute specimen of Rikishi perfection here today, albeit we're murdering all the other Rikishi to do this, but, you know, sacrifices have to be made. It's
We need
Halloween
the
and
parts.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
You have to be Hakuho somehow.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to the dismemberment and the joyful glee that we have over such dismemberment, I want to just go over some quick news because there's some interesting like practice that they are doing. So they still have decided no Daigeko, which is practice between Rikishi and different heias. But what they are currently doing from October 16th, which is yesterday as of this recording, through the 22nd, they're doing a combo practice that is approximately like 10 Sekitori and 14 Makushita Rikishi that are taking part in this. And the Sekitori that are there are heavy hitters. So Takakeisho, Shodai, Mitake Yumi, Kiribayama, Aoyama, Ichinojo, Ikioi, Nishikigi, and a surprise show up. Hakuho has showed up for the combined practice, but he has not done any actual sumo matches. He did some Butsukari with Shodai, and he did some Tachiai practice with Ikioi. And he said that he showed up because he is there to pull everybody behind me as the highest ranking Rikishi. That's how I raise them. So I like that Hakuho's there to kind of try to raise other people up.
Those poor Makushita guys. They're going to get slaughtered.
I love Hakuho. He's just got to toss in a little bit of the condescension when he's there.
Right?
Yeah, I'm here to pull everybody behind me as the highest ranking
As
Rikishi.
the highest rank.
What? Am I going to do sumo? Oh, no, none of that. No. I'll leave that to the other people.
What do I look like? Second best ever?
He does plan on doing some sumo in the later days of the practice session, but he's still, I'm guessing, just trying to get both of his knees in shape as he got arthroscopic surgery on both knees, which is why he missed the Aki tournament. And I have seen a few results from the first couple days. So Takakeisho and Shodai have had quite a few matches against each other in the first couple of days.
Shodai as well. Oh, God.
Yeah, there's a picture that you can find on like Twitter and r/sumo that is just like Shodai next to Hakuho, and Shodai's just like entire torso is cut up for some reason.
And Hakuho's just smiling, going, hey, he's doing great.
Yeah. But day one, Takakeisho had 9 wins against Shodai, Shodai only getting 5. And then day 2, evened it up, Takakeisho 6 wins against Shodai, and Shodai 6 wins against Takakeisho. And apparently, I'm guessing this is a false news source because it makes zero sense to me, Takakeisho won one of those matches with a Shitate Nage.
Lies.
Yeah.
Slander and lies.
That must be from the sumo onion.
Yeah.
The daikon radish, maybe.
The daikon radish. Nice.
And then the other interesting result note that I have seen is Mitake Yumi. On day 2, only had a 4-9 record when he went up against the likes of Kiribayama, Aoyama, Ichinojo, and Nishikigi. Now, keep in mind, Mitake Yumi is in a Heia where he's the only Sekitori, so it's just nice for him to get out there and practice with other Rikishi for the first time in 7 months. But still, you'd kind of want to see a better than 4-9 record for an Ozeki hopeful.
He's entering his hibernation phase.
Yeah, he's gonna go to sleep for the winter here. But isn't he the one who's notoriously crap in practice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
gotcha. So 4-9 is really, he might as well have not lost a match, I think.
Exactly. The fact that he showed up is just an absolute win for him.
Yeah, this translates to like a 14-1 performance in November, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm already have to go against my swearing off Mitake Yumi, and based off this performance, choose him as my champ in the.
It lasted 3 weeks.
A new record.
Yeah, I can't believe I made it that long. All right, so we have all of the bloody stumps of arms, legs, back hair from all of the Rikishi, and it's starting to smell a little bit. So let's sew this guy together and get all the other parts that we don't need and toss those away. But there are some rules that we need to put in place before we create Frankenstein's Rikishi. So each person has been assigned to a body part. That way, just one of us can kind of focus on figuring out what would be the best for making the best Rikishi. And so they're going to say what they think is the best part, and they're going to have the ultimate say. The rest of us are going to try to change their mind, but ultimately it's going to be up to the person who is assigned that body part to determine whose body part is going onto our perfect Rikishi. Because of weird medical science things, each Rikishi can only be selected once. So if you select Hakuho for best hair, you can't choose Hakuho for the rest of the body. It's just something with the rest of the body will reject it if there's too much of one Rikishi kind of seeping into it.
Science.
Yeah, scientific reasons, we can only have one body part from each Rikishi selected.
Also, I think if we're trying to build an abomination to defeat Hakuho, it might be better to leave Hakuho's pieces together so that we can test it.
Maybe.
No.
We'll see. We have his parts over here, so we'll see if we select any or if we have to just sew him back together. And I'm sure
it's easy enough to sew him back together. That's trivial.
Clearly.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like we said, we are building the best performing sumo wrestler we can build. So it's not necessarily the person with the most toned thighs that we're gonna put the legs of that person onto this Rikishi. It's who we think's legs will make the best Rikishi. We're limiting this to currently active Rikishi. We don't need anybody that's been retired. Their body parts aren't any good. They just won't work. And then we've also, just kind of as a sick joke for ourselves, we're going to just sew together the worst possible Rikishi that we can make and throw him up against Hattori Zakura and see if he can finally get a win.
The unholy abomination.
Yeah. So Hattori Zakura is the only torn apart Rikishi in the world right now. Just for a sick joke. Yes. Also, we figured we weren't going to be using any of his parts.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for the hundreds of Sandanme and Jonidan guys that we've torn apart that we don't even know. So there's no reason that we'll use the parts. But I mean, we don't half-ass things on this podcast.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We spared no expense. Also, coincidentally, the November tournament's been canceled for some reason.
Shh, Ryan, you're not supposed to. They were going to find more people for that. Shush.
All right. Without further ado, because like I said, these body parts are really starting to stink. Let's put all this together, and we're going to start at the tippy top with the hair. And that is my category. The chonmage. And
the most important part.
If you all would look to your Discord chat, I offer you Takayasu's hair.
Oh my.
That's some serious hair.
Look at that fan.
He has, it's like the perfect Rikishi haircut. It's like Max said, the fan on the top, the leaf part of the haircut is better than any Rikishi in the world. It's so wide, it's full the entire way. I don't think there's a better hairdo in all of sumo wrestling than there is Takayasu right there.
He's got an excellent combination of length and girth. It's a real veiny chonmage that he's got there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good thing Yoshikaze is retired, because I have this picture right here of him with very, like, his hair, a rare picture of Rikishi with his hair let down, and oh my god, he's quite the specimen.
Quite
Those are some
flowing.
luscious locks on that man's head.
Mm-hmm.
So now he must have heard about our scheme, because you don't just like tear apart Rikishi, all the Rikishi in the world, without like years of planning. So it's probably why he got out when he did, because he knew we were coming for that hair.
The one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
Very wise man. So unless there's any objections, I think we're gonna pencil in Takayasu for the best hair.
The only reason that I would object to it is that he's got to be in the running for back hair as well, if that's another category. But
Oh yeah.
But I don't see any reason why we need to game the system here.
I guess I'm going to go ahead and nominate after Enho as well, because that is a handsome looking Rikishi right there, and like it starts at the hair. He has a fantastic hair.
I did think about Enho a little bit, but really, for me, it's just the leaf on Takayasu's head. It's so perfect. Not even Enho can match it. So I do think I am going to stick with Takayasu's hair here, and he will be my official selection. So we do need to get the rest of those body parts out of here. Throw those in like the incinerator or something.
The rest of the Takayasu, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So for the worst hair, and I think this is pretty obvious, but I offer to you Hanakaze. I mean, the dude's 50 years old and there's really no hair to begin with.
You poor Rikishi.
And so I've got to go with Hanakaze for the worst hair.
I didn't think that there would be somebody who could beat Takara Fuji's cute little balding one.
But it's cute. Takara Fuji's is cute.
But yeah, at least his has the leaf because he's a Sekitori. Hanakaze's just looks much worse.
Yeah, and this is why we tore apart all the lower division Rikishi.
It was worth it.
Yeah. And so I think another thing to consider and why Hanakaze definitely has the worst hair is if you're wanting to get a performance advantage with your hair, Takayasu's thick, luscious hair, that's so easy to grab and pull accidentally. There's so much of it. But
I want to touch it.
Yeah. But Hanakaze, even if you were to like brush his hair and you tried to get a grip to pull it, you probably can't. And so a free win that could be coming Hanakaze's way won't happen because he doesn't have the hair to get somebody's hands accidentally tangled up in.
That's true. To be a top Rikishi, you have to have the hair that can accidentally get you that win, just in case.
It's the one performance advantage.
I've run the numbers, and over the course of his career, if he had a full head of hair the whole time, he probably would have gotten 2 or 3 more wins in his entire career.
Yeah,
of 40 years or however damn long.
Yeah,
those wins add up.
They do. One other kind of weird nomination that I would make for the worst is Ryuden, who's got the super thin, weaselly, floppy hair. Like anytime he does anything, it just kind of sags.
Oh, it's just sad.
It's sad, thin hair, and I mean he's got plenty of it. But like anytime he gets in a match where he's moving around even a little bit, it just like flops over and like comes completely undone.
Well, his hair, if no other Ryuden body parts are spared, he can get some hair plugs after we sew them back together.
There you go.
All right, but let's move on. And Fleric, tell us which brain of a Rikishi are you selecting?
Brains.
Brain. Well, if we have to go with the best brain of thinking of what could possibly be Hakuho, but what brain would be better than Hakuho's brain itself? If we're thinking of a smart Rikishi who has like a bag of tricks that can that just has a great different moves that it could do, it just has to be Hakuho.
Yeah, I don't even know who else I would offer up.
No, I can't think of any.
I think we made sure we put the brain category in here, just be like, yeah, it's Hakuho.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought maybe an Enho, because he also has like the tricky bag of tricks. Like he has to go like into each match with a plan. But you know,
Enho's tricks do also depend on him being small though.
Yes, it definitely has a play style, but like I think he definitely has a plan when he comes into I guess, each match. So, but between the two, I have to say it's Hakuho is the obvious choice of this for the brain.
Have you not procured a picture of Hakuho's brain so we can take a look at it and determine for ourselves?
We obviously we have this Hakuho's brain in a jar right over here. That's just been sitting here, so everyone can go ahead and take a look at it on the podcast. Unfortunately, we don't have the we have to get rid of these right away, or they have to get put into the Rikishi, so we won't be able to share it with anyone else. But you guys can take a gander.
You're using the fresh formaldehyde, correct?
Oh yeah, only the freshest.
We're not doctors.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that one's pretty cut and dry. But worst
Literally.
brain. Worst brain. Whose brain are we throwing into our joke Rikishi?
Okay. Well, when I was thinking of the worst brain, I thought of the people who just seem to be very, very strong and like they had very strong and like they had a very one-dimensional way of that they would fight, but as soon as stuff deviated from that, it just did not work out. And Hokuto Fuji kind of came up in my head the most.
Oh boy!
Because when I think of someone who just puts his head down and just like goes as hard as he can, and like his way of getting better at sumo is just trying harder, I just had to think of Hokuto Fuji.
That's a good point. He also gets mad a lot and like visibly.
Yeah.
Like when he loses, and that's definitely something that implies that he's fighting without thinking. He's fighting with emotion more so than fighting with technique.
See, I was thinking when Fleric brought up just like the single-minded strategy and just once it's been deviated, you really can't recover. I was thinking Kodo Shogiku because he's like the most easily hanka-able Rikishi there is, and I mean, he does the one move. He does the hug and chug. And if you can get away from that, you can usually get like a Tsuki Otoshi or something at the edge. So I was kind of thinking Kodo Shogiku for just like the one-track mind and how often he gets hanked.
Well, he gets hanked a lot, but I do think that he does have a bag of tricks because he does have a handful of throws in addition to his 90% Yorikiri, whatever win rate. But yeah, I think we're all thinking the same thing of like somebody who can do one thing and then totally blows it if it changes. My nominee in that regard would be Onosho.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Onosho, but he was actually on my short list of worst.
What about Kagayaki?
Oh, that'd be another one.
Yeah, but then he would have an accolade to his name if we selected him. And we know better than that.
You know, I will say, like, I was thinking Hokuto Fuji come in here, and as much as Ryan would hate it, Onosho is kind of like a worse Hokuto Fuji, and we are trying to make the worst Rikishi that can possibly lose to Hattori Zakura. So I think I'm gonna have to switch it for Onosho unless I have no other nominees on this.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. All right, go for it.
All right,
Cleric, putting the game ahead of trolling Ryan. Putting your feelings aside.
We have integrity, damn it.
Yeah, we're on the mission.
Wait, we do?
It
We just
waxes and
diced up
wanes.
hundreds of men. What integrity do we have?
Yeah, well, we diced them all up equally and with equal care, and we're considering all of their parts. That seems very integrous to me.
It's for the good of the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
All right, Mac. So we got our hair, we got the brain that we're putting on inside the skull, but whose face are we slapping on that skull?
Well, unfortunately, my storage practices were not that great, so Hakuho's face is now quite ruined. However, I did have another guy that I thought, yes, this guy right here, and it is that of our cheeky flying monkey, Tobizaru.
Ooh.
Oh.
I enjoyed how much emotion we got out of him. There were times when he was serious, when he was really trying. I loved all his different emotions, plus all those little facial tweaks and muscles. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this guy, full spectrum of emotion. Give me his face.
Give me his face.
Very apropos, Mac.
Well, yes. You did assign me the face.
That is a good looking face. I'd agree.
Who else was in the running for you?
The other one was Hoshoryu, purely for the pedigree. I know what that face can become. It is just not there yet, but we can take it, we can mold it, and then we can see what what our creation, what our science can rot, and just form this unholy, ungodly behemoth into a champion.
I don't know how much staying power our godlike Rikishi that we're creating will have. Maybe like a day or two before it falls apart. So we don't really have time to let these things age.
And that was what ultimately won out for me. I'm like, nah, at least we're going to get the full spectrum of emotion with Tobizaru's face. So it had to go.
There you go. I am going to also nominate Enho. I have this picture right here of him looking just absolutely stunning.
Oh,
and also,
my.
you can also see his hair, which I tried to argue in the other one. But yeah, that is a handsome-looking Rikishi in this photo right here.
See, now I was thinking, if we're looking for creating the best Rikishi, does handsome really help us? Does it stun the opponent and
Good point.
shake them off of their feet, or do they get angry looking at the face of a handsome man and just want to like slap them and elbow them in the face? What really gives us the performance advantage here?
And that's the trick. Like, what really do you want to go for?
I think my nominee for this, well, for the second category out of 3, we're discussing a guy that we wish wasn't retired. But have you ever seen a face take as much damage as Yoshikaze's and keep on trucking?
Oh, no. Totally fair. Totally fair.
If you're going for a tank build, you got to take the Yoshikaze face.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
He must have known. Like he must have known, and he got out when he could.
Yeah. But that face in its prime, that face could take it Tsupari for sure.
All right, Mac, it's up to you. Are we sticking with Tobizaru?
I'm not really into the whole tank build at this juncture. We're trying to beat something that can beat Hakuho, and Hakuho can take his time and assess weaknesses, tank or otherwise. We need something that can at least distract him. Maybe a weird facial, tongue wag or something like that I know Tobizaru's face can pull off.
I like it. If he smiles confidently in the face of Hakuho, it might throw him off his game.
Just ever so slightly.
Sorry. One last quick thought that I had. Endo is he would definitely do well if we were going for like the stun them with my beauty thing. But we've definitely got enough evidence that Hakuho gets angry when he sees that face. So that's not going to help us.
Yeah.
And then for worst face, I had to reach down a little bit for that and kind of look at a few that I thought, all right, Hattori Sakura, which one could you stand up to? And I fell on Gagamaru, honestly. It's not that it's ugly. I like Gagamaru. You're an awesome Rikishi. But I get nothing when I stare into that face. I get no emotion, just nothing. And maybe that's what Hattori Sakura needs. Zero emotion, just a golem-like face. You can do this. You can totally do this.
You're above this, but I'm not. It is a little ugly.
Ryan.
All right. So we have we're not done with the head yet. Jake, finish off the head of our behemoth monstrous god Rikishi.
Yes, and obviously the most important part of the head is the sideburns.
Ooh.
Yes. So for the sideburns, we got to go for sure. This one was kind of an easy pick among active Rikishi. We got to go with Chiyotairyu.
Yep.
There are only a couple other guys who are trying for facial hair. Shimanoumi has at times had some sideburns. Taka Keisho's had a couple sideburn attempts that don't seem to be going too well, but they're there. Taka Keisho also has some negative points in his favor because he has had like the chin stubble, which always looks just so silly on him. But Chiyotairyu, easy win. If we were digging historically, Takamiyama.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's no way we were getting out of this category without mentioning the goat sideburns for sure. But he looked like he just had 2 rodents taped to his face. Like I don't know how
it worked. The man was a legend.
And those sideburns definitely won him many a match. And Chiyotairyu doing his best to get to catch up there, but he's got to be the best out of all the active guys. As far as worst sideburns, there's like a 30-way tie in the top division because most guys don't have any sideburns, and that's
Lack
the worst.
thereof.
Yeah, I feel bad that we cut up so many lower division guys that we don't even know. So let's just grab a random Joni Don guy's sideburns and slap them on there.
Yeah, let me grab here we go. Sadatsu Yoshi. You've got the worst sideburns. Yeah.
Feel bad
I'm
for the
actually going to
man,
look him up. Let's see. God, there's a lot of bodies.
but yeah, I feel this is slam dunk for Chio Taidyu because to the best of our knowledge, the reason he pulled out of the last tournament was a sprain to his sideburns, as Jake pointed out. So if a man has to, so it does make me worry that they might not be at the top of their game, but I think even an injured Chio Taidyu sideburns, it easily takes this category.
Yeah. Another quick one. Enho has sported some just some nice narrow point sideburns. Those look okay. He'll get there someday, maybe. But he's got a long ways to go before he's in the conversation. He's just one of the few guys that's on his way.
Makes sense. All right, we turn back to Mac now as we need a neck for this head to sit on. So Mac, whose neck are we going to be slapping on this man?
Well, as to this one, I went for more of the muscular build. Now, I know a lot of tank builds, most of the Rikishi don't have necks. But for this, I'm really looking at the traps and the definition of the traps themselves. And who better than Ishiura? That man looks like a freaking bodybuilder. And when you stare at those traps, that's all you can see from his head. There's his jaw and then boom, traps. We want strength. And
yeah, I think his
Ishiura
shoulder's
is
attached to his ears.
Huh?
His shoulder's attached to his ears, like directly. Like it's not. There's just one line of muscle.
I was saving this photo for my next category, but I feel like it's very apropos.
Ah, very good.
Yes, and even when he's not flexing like he is in that picture, they're enormous.
Yeah.
And then honorable mention on this one that I really debated on was Asanoyama. He's got these nice, I mean, his traps are good. They're not as defined, but clearly it goes into the neck itself. There isn't as much definition with the neck, but definitely a ridge sitting up on top of his shoulders going into his lower neck. And
Yeah,
then no, go ahead.
What about Hokuto Fuji? He's got some traps on him too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, that is true. That is also true. He was also in the running.
I mean, he doesn't have them on him right now. They're on the floor.
Attaboy, Fleric. I was looking for that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a picture of Hokuto Fuji just flexing the ever-loving piss out of his neck and shoulders. And my God, does that man have traps?
It looks like a tiny man crawling out of a big man suit.
You know, I would be willing to swatch that for Hokuto Fuji. It was a tight race for me.
And the thing you're going to have to be looking for, Ishiura's neck is on a smaller frame, and it's not going to match up as well with probably the bigger frame that we're going to be getting for our Rikishi. So Hokuto Fuji would probably line up a little bit better there as well.
I would be willing to switch all right, get him out of the fridge.
All right. We'll get
What
Hokuto
do I do
Fuji's
with these?
neck.
What do I do with these traps from Ishiura?
Is Piper hungry?
They're like drippy.
I don't want to give her a taste for man flesh yet. That seems a little problematic for me and my family situation. So I think just to the incinerator, as with everything else.
Could Bubbles eat them?
For what it's worth, for listeners who may or may not be familiar, Piper is Ryan's dog. Riley is Ryan's daughter. Yes.
So it's semi-acceptable to feed my dog man flesh, but not my daughter.
It's just important context for the joke here.
Yes, thank you, Jake. We needed that.
And then for worst, I had to go with just there are a lot of guys with the bulge. And for that, I have to go with Chiyomaru. I mean, there's nothing there. I love you, Chiyomaru, but there's nothing there.
Yeah.
The double chin doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. It does nothing for him except make him look adorable.
He's kind of like an orangutan where his face is just continuing to grow out laterally in all directions.
But I love that about orangutan.
Yeah, it just doesn't do much for their neck. other than holding up all that weight.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So next is the all-important shoulders. Yeah, there's a very nice
Yep,
picture that we got shared of Chiyomaru's complete lack of neck.
Does nothing.
It's even worse than I remember.
It's like a beanbag sitting on top of his shoulders.
I love you, Chiyomaru. I love you so much.
Fleric, the MVP, with like the very quick,
I have the fast.
relevant image search abilities.
Oh yeah, I have the
All right.
fastest Google search in the West.
The Midwest. Oh.
So
Wow.
next category is shoulders, and that is my category. And I really think you just got to go with the obvious choice here and go with Tochinoshin. I mean,
there is no other.
This is the man who can grab the back of your belt. He can grab the back of Kaisei, Ichinojo, Terano Fuji's belt and lift them up. And you need to have quite strong shoulders to do that. I mean, they've got some nice definition in there as well. He's also got some nice straps that we could have stolen. But I can't think of anybody's shoulders I would want on this behemoth besides Tochinoshin's.
And that's why I didn't go for the traps, because I wanted his shoulders more than those traps.
See, Mac's a team player. He knows the end goal and what is best for all of us.
We are trying to create something to beat Hakuho. We need those shoulders.
There you go. Yeah, I think you have it, Tochinoshin. I was thinking maybe Terano Fuji, but I think Tochinoshin. I think it will be a solid choice.
Yeah, and once again, I'm gonna just pause it. Ishiura's incredible flexing picture again, just because that is still a very impressive photo from Ishiura, and we'll make sure that we share a lot of these on like Instagram and Twitter so people know what we're talking about. But yeah, I think Tochinoshin is the no-brainer here. And so for the worst shoulders that we got a Fallen Guy, I mean, it's kind of hard to find the worst shoulders, but what I came up with Hoshoryu, because the man has like zero muscle definition. Like his shoulders are flat slabs. There is zero trapezius to speak of. There's nothing there. Like you could set like your dinner plate and eat your dinner off of his shoulders because it's flat as a table.
Honestly, the picture that you posted, he looks like he could just be one of us.
Nah, hold on. I'm getting another honorable mention here. Just a moment.
But that, yeah, I'm with you there. That's a strong contender for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important that we know if somebody ends up on the worst Rikishi, they can still end up on our godlike Rikishi, because, like we said, it's the intermingling of multiple parts on the same guy that causes the issue. And so, since if Hoshoryu was chosen for best, he wouldn't have that intermingling of parts on the other Rikishi. Ooh, and Mac,
I submit for worst, Abi.
that is just an unflattering picture of Abi all around.
Exactly. But look, there's nothing there. I mean, it's just a rounded mass, and it leads to nothing.
It's round because there is some muscle under there, but there's no definition the way that there were with some of our best shoulders. That's for dang sure. But yeah, he that picture, yeah, that is so unflattering. He just looks hunched over and like chubby.
It just looks
Like,
awful.
Most pictures of sumo wrestlers, you can at least see like part of them is very strong, even if they've got, a big gut on them. But Abi, that's just awful. Poor guy.
All right, let's move on to our next category. What the shoulders will be supporting most, and those are the beefy arms of our god Rikishi. Jake, whose arms are we taking?
Well, I've got a couple nominees based on. I do kind of want this to be a discussion because I honestly could not decide between length and girth. So if we're going reach, if we want really long arms, Abi is definitely the winner there. Abi is the lankiest. He would allow us to thrust or grab Hakuho from further away. And I feel like it's a no-brainer if reach is your top priority. However,
I'd agree with that.
If just pure pro wrestler bodybuilder size is what you're going for, then we got Shohozan. Shohozan's got some serious pipes on him. And they're not the longest arms in the world by any means. So that's why I kind of was debating on it. We've already used Tochinoshin, but he's another guy I was thinking about. Ishihara is another guy that I was thinking about just for like the pure strength of it.
I
one of
once
the things-
again posit this picture of Ishihara flexing.
yeah, I appreciate it because it is fully relevant right now. There's a lot of categories where like the several ripped guys are the ones that we are going to be discussing.
Fair enough. Right there. No, right there. Shohozan.
So Fleric just posted the exact picture that I was thinking of, where Shohozan is giving the check out these pipes face that is universal to all men who have ever set foot in a gym.
Yeah.
And just giving us the old Hulkamaniac 22-inch pythons kind of look here.
I'm sold.
Yeah. So that's I kind of wanted to discuss it, like what our priorities are in the arms. So what did you guys think?
Coming into this, I was going to put out Abi if he wasn't selected, because I do think reach is a very important thing to be able to push thrust. And the longer your arms are, the better you can keep them away from your belt for a longer period of time. I think of a Yokozuna like Akebono, who put his very long arms to good reach. And so that's kind of what I want to emulate in our perfect Rikishi here. So I would say Abi, plus we get the benefit of throwing the rest of Abi in the incinerator. If we don't choose an Abi part, we just sew them back together.
I do think it might be worth getting some strong arms to work with the shoulders and the neck that we have.
And that's what I'm thinking now too. Flair.
Because Abi's arms are nice and long, but those arms are meant for like pushing. They haven't really done much grabbing and some pulling or anything like that.
That's
so
true.
I'm gonna throw out once again a Terra no Fuji of just some nice, strong, beefy arms as well. Although I think Shohozan also works very well, but like just a nice, very strong arms, I think will probably what we need to if we're going to take down
Terra no
Hakuho.
Fuji would have added length.
I think you guys are Fleric, I think I'm going to go with Terra no Fuji as the official head in charge Weeblo of this category.
And we know they're not injured. It's not his knees, so we can cut the knees off, keep the shoulders. We're good.
But yeah, Terra no Fuji, I think he's an excellent compromise of the reach as well as the utter python-ness of the arms.
Concur.
For the worst arms, I had to go with Takakeisho.
Oh, yeah.
Takakeisho has a very not well-rounded, but he has a very effective game, when you have Takakeisho as a whole. But he succeeds in spite of his little T-Rex claws, not because of his little T-Rex claws. So yeah, the total lack of reach, I think, is what we want to put on our disaster wrestler to give Hattori Zakura the best chance.
Meh. I submit Takakeisho's arms.
Yeah, I think this is another one where that's the clear and obvious choice.
Yes.
And yeah, obviously, all our honorary mentions. Oh, we did talk about these, but yes, all the ripped guys are being discussed again for honorary mentions.
Yeah. So Fleric, whose hands are we putting on the end of Terra no Fuji's arms?
Well, I had to think of the most memorable hands of all of them, and for some reason, the only thing that came up to my mind was Kotoyuki.
Yeah.
So, Kotoyuki?
Wait a minute! You don't sound convinced.
I'm probably not convinced. I think most people's hands are pretty flippin' solid. So might as well go for like the penguin ones that are at least memorable. That I don't know. At least that might get some scaring into the brainless Hakuho it's gonna face. So I don't know.
For
Does anyone have anything better than Kotoyuki?
Oh yes, please adjourn to your Discord. I present Oeyama's hands.
Oh,
those are some meat hooks.
And he uses them well. The rest of his body, meh. We can debate about that, but those hands are impressive.
Ooh, I like that. The problem here is both of these guys are ones where we have a lot of history knowing how they push and how they thrust. But because of the strategy of the wrestler they're attached to, we don't have a ton of data on how good they are at the grappling. So that's it. That makes this category kind of tough. but I do think that those gigantic meat hooks are definitely a plus. I don't have a picture to support my case, but my nominee here would be Kaisei. Kaisei being like one of the biggest dudes out there who does have at least a bit of a mix of styles, so we know that he can do anything he needs to with those hands.
And my thought coming into this category was, who is going to have the hands that when they get a hold of your belt, you know the match is over? And there's two guys that pop into my head for that. The first being Ryuden, and that's kind of lessened over the past couple of Basho, because it really seemed like once he got your belt, you were losing because he just had that solid grip that wasn't going anywhere. But I would say recently, Asanoyama, once he gets a hold of your belt, one way or another, you're going down to the ground and he's going to stand triumphantly over you. And I got to put a lot of that to credit to his hands for getting down to the belt and maintaining that grip.
I do like the Asanoyama. I like the idea of talking about not only getting some hands that can do some nice good pushing, but some that can do some nice good gripping as well. And
looking for that right balance. I agree.
Yeah. It's I think I've been swayed to the Asanoyama. I think the Tochinoshin hands would be perfect for this, but unfortunately, we already chopped him up for his shoulders, which are very important.
Yes.
So I think Asanoyama is going to be the victor. Let's get his hands on there.
After seeing this image that I put on Discord, I could totally see. Yeah, right there. I'm swayed.
I know that picture is a result of Asanoyama throwing Sada no Umi to the ground, but for the life of me, it looks like Asanoyama just bitch slapped the piss out of Sada no Umi.
And that's why I'm like, right there, that hand.
Sada no Umi has that vacant, I am semi-conscious kind of facial expression going on.
I do like Oyama's meat hook hands, but no, Asanoyama would be the correct balance, I believe.
All right, Fleric, who has the worst hands?
I think that is very if you want hands that are going to do well, you need hands that would actually touch a Mawashi. So I think Abi hands are very much so. Those are the ones that need to be put on to the Rikishi that are going to lose to Hattori Zakura.
No argument here.
Nope.
The only other one that I would consider here is one that you nominated for best, and I would put Kotoyuki's hands down there.
Those are some top-notch hands. What are you talking about? Throwing some shade at Kotoyuki.
But he can't.
Yeah.
He makes
Kotoyuki.
no qualms. There's no debate about it. He has no intention of grabbing anything with those hands. So it's like Ryan, who's the pro wrestler who used the cast for his whole career? Was that Randy Orton's dad?
Yeah, Cowboy Bob Orton.
Cowboy Bob Orton. So it's like he's coming out there, he's gonna hit you with that cast. Like he's gonna do that.
And Hacksaw Jim Duggan hit you with a board. It's just the gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the board he could put down and do other wrestling moves. Whereas Kotoyuki, he taped up his hands because he's gonna hit you with them. And you know he's gonna hit you with them. And you know that if you can avoid getting hit with them, like he can't do anything else. He's not going to grab you.
What about Mankind with Sako?
I don't understand how you're making relevant nominations here.
I'm not. I'm just talking about wrestling and whatnot. Continue.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
But the hands of Kotoyuki, they have some marketing because they have all taped up like a penguin. The Abi hands, they're just normal plain hands that just can't touch a Mawashi.
They're bad, but also not notable. Okay.
Exactly.
Those hands could also be marketable as like, hey, fresh hands, never been used. All right. Next category is another one of mine, and it is the chest. And so I direct all of you to Discord.
Oh, I'm excited for this. Oh, God damn it, the Ishiro picture.
How did we know that was coming?
I think it's finally time we take a piece off of ripped Ishiura and just throw his chest onto here, because we've already got Tochinoshin. We've already, and I am not taking Aoyama or Kagayaki. That chest is not going on our godlike Rikishi.
Only because we have already diced up Tochinoshin, but Tochinoshin's chest is outstanding.
Yeah.
So chest is one of the areas of a Rikishi that has the most mass. If we want to be a good Rikishi, we need something of sizable mass. So like Aoyama, He got some sizable mass to his chest.
I legitimately agree with Fleric on this one, Ryan.
There is some mass there.
Yeah.
But
And then some.
But we see that Ishiura clearly has the strength with that chest. I mean, this picture is getting posted to Twitter, and everybody will know the god that is Ishiura. But we don't need to post a picture of Aoyama. We know what his chest looks like. Is there any muscle underneath of that?
There is probably
there
half
has
a
to
ton.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about the big guys.
An Ishiura underneath on his chest, underneath all that of muscle.
That's the thing about the big guys. Just by like sheer mass, they're going to have a whole buttload of muscle under there, despite what's on top of it that is scaring Ryan away and making him question his sexuality. But Aoyama, Kaisei, Ichinojo, I think those guys, just by the sheer size of them, definitely have the most quantity of chest muscle. But yeah, I'm certainly not disagreeing that Ishiura looks the best. But that's not necessarily what we need to go for in every category.
All right. I think somehow I have been swayed. We need the kind of chest that can support the long arms of Terunofuji, because I'm imagining quite a bit of pushing and thrusting, and the chest of Aoyama is used to the motions of pushing and thrusting. So
To
I
counter
will.
that, now hold on. To counter that, I would do Ichinojo. Now, he may not have the rest of the mass to support it. Just don't look at his thighs. As in, his shoulders and arms may not be of his best assets, but that chest is broad and there is strength there.
I think I could lay down on his chest horizontally.
Seriously.
Yeah, no kidding. There is something to the broadness of Ichinojo, and bringing over body parts of Ichinojo is a wise move, since we're not going to have his brain that just shuts him off the second his foot touches the Tawara. So there is it, and it would save me from putting Aoyama's chest on there.
And as much as I enjoy Aoyama's thrusting game, I can't get over the pendulous glands. So Ichinojo in this case, I would say, has more muscle mass that we could utilize.
I have been swayed. I am going with the chest of Ichinojo due to its vast broadness. I'm sure that's good for sumo. Having a chest like a billboard has to be good.
Yeah.
Clearly.
We sure hope so, at least.
And for worst chest, gonna stay out of the Makuuchi division. You would think I might throw in Aoyama or Kageyaki. No.
Fine.
No, there is one worse. It is a man that I once dubbed Flop Sweat on an episode that is never going to be released. Akiseyama.
Poor Akiseyama. I remember him.
Yeah, if you take a look at Akiseyama, you know the chest situation there. I don't want to or need to go into it. Worst chest by far, going on our worst Rikishi.
It's so weird too. Like when you see him, if you see him from the side, like his torso, like maybe like 6 to 8 inches down from his shoulders, looks like a normal person's torso, and then his chest starts.
Yeah,
it's a very, very strange build. That's for sure. He has got to be like the least pro athlete looking sumo wrestler that I can think of,
and that's an accomplishment. All right, Jake, whose belly is going to be sitting below the chest?
Ooh.
Got to be Kota Shogeku's. I can't think of any other belly that is effectively a weapon in
Chiyomaru.
sumo wrestling.
So no, he qualified it, Flair. He qualified it as weapon. With Chiyomaru, it's just more of a distraction. He doesn't always use it to his advantage.
And Chiyomaru is definitely strongly a thruster rather than a grappler. Whereas Kota Shogeku, it is his primary offensive weapon is his belly.
The bumpty bump.
And it got him all the way to Ozeki and kept him there for like a decade or something ridiculous.
Yeah, a long time.
And he's still going, even though he doesn't have quite the legs to piston that belly into people as strongly anymore. It's a no-brainer for me. I can't think of anybody that's got a better belly for an ultimate sumo wrestler. The only one that I considered a near match for it or even in the same ballpark, Takayasu has a pretty awesome
Yes.
belly.
Yep.
That he does.
But since we ripped his scalp off, we can't use him for anything else.
The Chonmage.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly his best part of him is his hair.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some other ones that I think might be worth mentioning in this. Tochinoshin, you can actually see a six-pack under there.
Mm-hmm.
There's
So, I mean,
definition.
For different reasons, that's an incredibly impressive belly. And then I have this other picture I wanted to send you guys of another impressive belly. It's the picture of Ishiro flexing again.
Of course it is.
Why not?
Because for pure aesthetics from the waist up or down, I guess, Ishiro is the guy.
Yeah. And this is the last category. We could feasibly throw that picture up. So I appreciate it, Jake.
I did my best.
Yeah, I can't think of any other belly argument. The only thing you could think of is, do you want somebody with like that doesn't have like the bulge that Koto Shogiku? Do we want to go with like an Ishiura who has a flatter stomach? But really, the kind of guy that we're building at this point, I'm not sure if that flat stomach would work on this kind of guy. We kind of need somebody, and plus it gets that extra mass on him. So yeah, I feel like Koto Shogiku is the correct answer here.
And picture the bottom half of Ishiura's torso underneath the top half of Ichinojo's. Like how would it just seems structurally unsound.
Yeah.
Oh well. Any other thoughts on best belly?
Nope. I think
not really.
I think you got nailed.
Clear.
All right. So for worst belly, there's a couple ways that a belly could be worst. So one of the ways that it could be worst is if it's as small as possible, and I got a picture for you here. It's Ishiro flexing again.
How dare you use that picture in the context of worst?
It's not gonna help him stay immobile. I'll say that. So in that context of sumo, it could be one of the worst. Enho for the same reason. But the one that I got to go with is Tokushoryu, whose belly reaches all the way down below his mawashi. And that's just like Akiseyama for Ryan Aoyama's chest. That's one of the visuals I really can't get past. Is
just the gigantic belly.
No, well, I mean, for one, he doesn't even like use it as an advantageous belly because he's a thruster. It's similar to like Chiyomaru, but Chiyomaru is aesthetically pleasing for his own reasons.
Yes.
But Tokushoryu just has this massive like beer keg strapped to the front of him, and it's like so gigantic that like the folds of it are revealed in the leg holes of his mawashi. And that's too much for me, especially not just for the visual, but also because it seems to get in his way more than anything, and he just doesn't use it. So that's why I would say Tokushoryu is the worst belly.
I would posit one argument for Enho in that we need Hattori Zakura to be able to move this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's up to you if you want Tokushoryu, and I completely understand that reasoning.
Well, the other key here is if we put Tokushoryu's belly on the guy, then the guy can't move.
True.
Yeah. with his Takakeisha T-Rex arms, he probably can't reach out beyond the Tokushoryu belly.
So yeah, it kind of depends on which build we're going for here. But if we're going for like the immovable object that can't do anything else, then the Tokushoryu one for sure. But yeah, if we're trying to make somebody as tiny and movable as possible, then yeah, Enho would be the winner there.
All right, let's go with your gut instinct. Gut instinct. Tokushoryu there. And then we will move on to probably the most important category, this alongside of sideburns. Fleric, whose back hair are we slapping on this bad boy?
That's a very good question. I know everyone's been wondering about this one. It's been kind of a little bit tough because Jake called out right away. Takayasu's back hair is top notch. But unfortunately, his hair is just so much better. So we had to make choices where it was. So I have to think about this one, I think I have to probably go with Kaisei as the best back hair, because he definitely is not lacking in the back hair for Kaisei.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I full-heartedly agree with the Kaisei back hair argument, just so we get some visual evidence for everybody.
Mm,
I mean, if the shoulder hair is any evidence.
yeah, that is a good picture of Kaisei with just
His next meal.
very, very, very noticeable back hair on the shoulder and on his chest as well.
Yeah, so
Very nice.
we posted 2 pictures. One is just a shot, a stock image of Kaisei, and like you can see at his neckline there that at the shoulder, the hair is fully an inch long away from his shoulder. That is some very long shoulder hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a little patch of chest hair that just kind of keeps going to the sides.
Yeah.
A cloak of chest hair.
Yeah, it's like a Superman cape shape. You know, it's got like the icon in the middle that goes over his shoulders and covers his back.
As we all know, it gets a little chilly in the Kokugi-Con on the on the dohyo, so we need some top-notch back hair. So Kaisei, I think, is going to get the job done.
And then, do you have a candidate for worst back hair, or are we just going to select a random Joni Don Rikishi again that has no back hair and slap it on our worst Rikishi?
Once again, this was like another 30 or 28 way tie, give or take, due to like the very much lack of back hair of many of these Rikishi. Random Joni Don sounds good. I was gonna maybe throw out Shodai because I don't know, he just looks like a giant baby.
And that way you can incinerate the rest of him.
Yes, which is actually very important. And yep, we're going with Shodai. Shodai's back here.
God.
And unfortunately, we have to get rid of the rest of them because that's just how science works.
We could maybe use him for best something else.
Yeah.
Nope. He's done.
Nope.
Executive decision made.
I found a picture to post just for this one while we're texting about it, but I found the fishiest looking picture of Shodai's face, which also illustrates his lack of back hair.
Yes.
Yes.
Just really a giant baby. All right, Mac. Whose ass is going on our specimen of a Rikishi?
You know, it's all about that base. And in this case, whose base is better than Takara Fuji?
Nobody's. That's why there's silence, my friend.
One moment. I will post you a picture of this magnificent behind. Look at that definition.
God, that is some definition.
It's muscles upon muscles in the ass. There is no cellulose at all. Cellulite, excuse me, whatever it is. I am staring at an ass, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah, you can see like not just the boundaries between the muscles, but like the super detailed anime drawing of muscles, like the fibers within the muscles. It's insane.
That is the stuff of Fist of the North Star, of JoJo, of every single over-the-top muscled anime. That ass.
I mean, that ass is probably the reason we're recording this episode. So,
yeah, some conversation sometime in the past of like, what if you could put Takara Fuji's ass on like a more effective wrestler?
Yeah, there's never been a slam dunkier slam dunk in the history of slam dunks.
And beyond that, I couldn't think of anybody else that would even come close to dead ass.
I'm trying to make out if there's like a reflection in that Ishiura flexing picture to see if maybe we can get anything else out of that. But no, it's a window. It's not a mirror behind him, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we've lost all use of that photo from now on.
Damn.
Well, wait, just wait. We've got a few more categories.
We'll find a way.
Up again. And then for worst, literally, I had to go with Tochinoshin. And I know that is odd, but with all the issues he's had with his butt, I mean, it's taped. It's got all these weird bandages all over it. I'm like, what is going on here? And
that's fair.
While there is a lot of power with it, there's just something wrong with it.
He's got this weird thing going on. He's far from the only sumo wrestler who's got this going on, but it's like a larger person's lower body has been slapped onto his upper body.
Yes.
And it's very silly looking, especially on him because he doesn't have quite so much upper body cushioning.
I would also throw Aoyama in there for worst butt.
No real arguments on my part.
Yeah. Whoever you want to put in there, my friend. This is your ass world, and we're just living in it.
Nope. Takara Fuji and nothing else.
Boom.
You didn't even put down any honorary mentions. Good man.
Oh, hell no. There was no question.
All right, so we're officially going Tochinoshin with the worst ass.
Yes.
All right. So that moves on to the legs that will be supporting that ass. And so my initial thought for legs was actually going to be Hokuto Fuji, because he does have some meaty thighs, and you can see in this picture that I posted some very nice calf definition. And I like Bruce's assessment of Hokuto Fuji as a whole that he does on Tachiai, where like his upper body and lower body are two separate entities in one person. And I would say the lower body of Hokuto Fuji is far superior to the upper body of Hokuto Fuji. Like the match against Asanoyama he had in the most recent tournament, where Bruce on Tachiai said that Hokuto Fuji's upper body lost the match 5 seconds before Hokuto Fuji's lower body did. And so just for having a brain of its own, I wanted to go with Hokuto Fuji, but we already have his neck. And so that isn't the case. I do have a backup, and I think it's a little surprised, not necessarily where you might go. He probably doesn't have the most toned legs, the strongest legs, the heaviest legs, the longest legs. But if we're looking for somebody who uses their legs as a weapon, Hoshoryu. Because this is a guy who will get you tangled up with throws, and then he'll use his legs to trip you, to assist him in those throws. His legs are a dangerous weapon, and I think he uses them just about as good as anybody else as a weapon in sumo wrestling.
Yeah, the same way that Haruma Fuji used to be all sorts of trippy, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I like it.
My nominee here would be Endo, purely for the defensive aspect of it. Endo isn't a huge guy for sumo, but he's also a decent bit bigger than Hoshoryu is. And I think Endo's balance and defense is definitely something that would come in handy as part of our Frankenstein.
I thought about that as well, but I don't want to step on the toes of Fleric in the feet category, because that's kind of where I would put that.
Man, your metaphor game is on point here.
Right.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to point it out, but I appreciate you guys pointing it out for me.
I oddly agree with you, Ryan, for some reason.
Wait, what?
I oddly agree that maybe the Endo might be a very good choice for feet.
And maybe we don't want to get rid of the rest of his body for the legs category if maybe we needed him for the feet. I pick up what you're putting down, Fleric.
There you go. Yeah, we're running out of Rikishi parts fast.
Yeah. So for that reason, and I don't believe we've used Hoshoryu on our best Rikishi. He's got the worst shoulders, so that means he can be put onto our best Rikishi. So yeah, I'm going to go with the legs of Hoshoryu, because those are certified weapons. And for the worst legs, I direct you to the Discord chat for Terano Fuji's legs.
Oh no.
A picture of duct tape. Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought it was a picture of Ikioi. My bad.
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
I also, it was tough to figure out if that was a picture of Tochinoshin, if it was Koto Shogiku, Ikioi, but if you look close, you could tell that particular roll of duct tape is used on Terano Fuji's legs.
It's the only thing strong enough to hold them together.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. There's a handful of big dudes with bad legs. Koto Shogaku could go in that category for his current form. Tochinoshin's always got something taped up or other. But yeah, Terano Fuji, now that he's back in the top division and back in the discussion all the time, yeah, for sure.
All right, so our final category to finish out our perfect Rikishi. We may have kind of spoiled it a little bit, but Fleric, who's got the best feet?
Yeah, Jake, you said it exactly right. Of someone who has just solid balance and just kind of just solid fundamentals of sumo in general, which is, I think, Endo. And to get that solid balance and that stretchiness, you have to have a solid base to stand upon. So I'm gonna go with Endo's feet for the base that is gonna be our Rikishi.
Nice.
The only other person that I might be able to come up with would be like Endo or
Yeah, I know.
Nice. Good pick.
Well done.
Yeah.
or Shodai. Because Shodai does have a bit of like the Tawara ballet gymnastics at the edge as well. But I do think Endo is just on a completely other level.
Oh, that kind of reminds me. Maybe a Tokushoryu. Have we used up his parts yet?
Not
Yes,
on the
we
good
used his
body.
bad belly and we tossed the rest of him away.
There we go. Because talking about Tawara ballet, that got him to a U show. That is some solid feet right there. He's also those are feet supporting his belly, which is no easy task.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I convinced myself I'm gonna go with Tokushoryu's feet.
No, don't do it.
All right, we're going with Tokushoryu for the best feet.
They're solid feet. What can I
Flaric
say?
has final say. There's nothing we can do. All right,
Whose idea was it to give him this category?
All right, Flaric, who has the worst feet?
That's gotta be Tochinoshin.
Oh.
How many times have we seen it beyond Tawara and it just instantly just touches the other side? It's never a question.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And
Tochinoshin.
Hakuho also, Hakuho's feet are injured all the time. It's been a little bit since he's lost time for it. But yeah, he's had chronic big toe issues that have kept him out of tournaments in the past as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That is true.
We'll double up on the Tochinoshin for the worst Rikishi. We want to give Hattori Zakura as much of a chance as he can, and so like the body like going through like rejecting itself will probably help Hattori Zakura. So having two
good
Tochinoshin
point.
parts will help him out there. So there you have it, folks. We've created the ultimate in dohyo Rikishi with all of these parts. I'm not going to go through the whole list right now, but there's more to that makes a Rikishi. There's other things that you need to have the perfect Rikishi. And so we're going to start with Flaric. Whose Tachi-Ai are we stealing?
Ooh.
Oh
I
shit.
figure it's like a
We're
Shang,
Captain Ginuing this stuff. I like it.
or I was figuring like Shang Tsung, where we could just like turn into anybody and take their Tachi-Ai. But yeah, I think Captain Ginyu is the better reference here because we're stealing it from them.
stealing it.
Taskmaster, if we're doing a different type of nerd reference.
Ah, very good.
There you go. Well, I was not instantly, but I was originally thinking maybe a Hokuto Fuji or like an Osho, like someone who has a very solid, or a Takakeisho, a very strong Tachi-Ai that's going to just take people down. But we're going against Hakuho. We need someone who's not afraid to be a little tricky. So I don't know who Henkas a lot.
Surprisingly, Tochinoshin.
I was gonna go with that. We picked his shoulders, I think, right?
Yeah, we took his shoulders.
But this isn't really a body part. So I think anybody is eligible for this.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Tochinoshin then, because
Purely for like several high profile Henkas, you're gonna pick that.
it could be yeah. Because I guess it is a very slow Henka, is it though? We need probably a little more speed to that.
The ones that came to mind for me were Takayasu and Chiyotairyu, just for like pure power. Chiyotairyu definitely gets caught out, especially that one or two tournaments ago where we got a screenshot of him like blind, like literally closing his eyes and thrusting at the air 6 feet up as Enho is already like halfway behind him.
Yeah.
So he definitely has a strong but dumb charge. But Takayasu, he's got a very powerful. When he's healthy and he does that shoulder blast, he has a very, very powerful start off to the match, and he is not necessarily straightforward or single-minded enough to get caught out easily.
Yeah, but Takayasu, he always does the shoulder blast, and sometimes that can be a little bit too high depending on the opponent.
Flaric needs the trickeration.
I do, and I actually I scrolled a little bit.
Sorry, go ahead.
I scrolled a little bit down the Bonsuke, and I found out there's this thing called Jurio, and there's this person called Chiyoshima who's living down there.
Oh no!
This thing called Jurio.
Yeah. So I think my number one person right now might be Chiyoshima, because I do definitely need some trickery. I think I do like Takakeisho. Like you say, is very strong and powerful, but I think it's just a little bit too straightforward. I think that's gonna get us any wins. So I need tricky Tachi-ai people.
So
I can't say no to that. He's not wrong.
in the same vein of tricky Tachi-ai, but in order to not bring up Chiyoshima as much as possible, what about Terutsu Yoshi?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, that's
He's got
good
a
one.
little bit more straightforward than like Enho and Ishiura, but he's still got a lot of that small guy trickery that he pulls from.
He'll go for the Henka, he'll go for the leg pick, he'll go for the Haramafuji non-Henka.
That is true. He went for the two the two
Ashitori.
leg trips, Ashitoris, like in a row. I think that is you've convinced me, Terutsu Yoshi. I think that's the trickster
All
we
right.
need
I
directing our
clinch it.
Tachi-ais.
All right. Do you have a thought for worst Tachi-ai?
Yeah, Koto Shogoku. Easy. What the hell are you doing, man?
No, wait a minute. His arm flopping down could confuse Hattori Sakura.
Maybe, but like everyone else is going to be, I don't know, maybe someone would just tell him like, hey, just watch the timing for that of when his second arm comes down and just be higher than his butt, which is going to be super high, and you probably have an advantage. I don't know.
For me, I want predictability. So for this, I have to go with Takakeisho. You know what he's going to do. He's got one weapon in his arsenal. If you can disrupt his initial charge, you got him.
Takakeisho's Tachi-ai will kill poor Hattori Sakura.
Hattori Sakura can move, I hope, please.
Well, yeah, but I think Koto Shogoku's is a much better pick there because one, he's got the high butt now, which takes away a ton of his power. And
Fair
two,
enough.
he still will get straightforward Henka'd anytime you try it.
That is true.
Like
Guys,
he's proven that high butt does not help his defense on the Tachi-ai.
you guys are overthinking this. What better Tachi-ai to go up against Hattori Sakura than Hattori Sakura's Tachi-ai himself?
Oh,
Are we going to cut up Hattori Sakura? I don't know about
we
that.
leave him alone.
So
Yeah.
Otherwise, we just
you
pick
shut
him
your
for
mouth,
everything,
Ryan.
Ryan.
well, no, if we steal his Tachi-ai, that will force him to find another Tachi-ai, which can only be better.
We do have a lot of them lying around. That is true. But no, I'm going to go with Koto Shogoku.
All right.
Also, if we're talking like Taskmaster style Tachi-ai stealing, then stealing Hattori Sakura's Tachi-ai does nothing to Hattori Sakura's ability to do Hattori Sakura's Tachi-ai. It
But it might,
depends on the rules of Tachi-ai stealing here. And I think
Yeah,
we
fair
need to
enough.
spend a long time discussing the rules of our universe here where we do our Frankenstein's Rikishi.
Well, I was thinking it might just like hold up a mirror to Hattori Sakura. It's like, oh, is that what I look like? I got to work on this, man.
Change
buddy.
now.
Oh, buddy.
All right, Jake. How is our God Rikishi going to be styling into the dojo with his Mawashi?
Well, there are a number of there's again two routes that we could take here. There's the effective in-ring route, and then there's the aesthetics route. Effective in-ring route, basically the only thing you can do it is like tie it loose or tie it tight. And I don't think it really matters because Hakuho, if we're going against Hakuho, he'll know exactly what to do in either situation. No, nothing you can do about that. So in that case, we have to focus on the aesthetics. And for the aesthetics, I think Endo is the runaway style champion in the top division. He was gold for a long time, and recently he's been that brilliant purple. He's just always on point with his colors. And gold and purple, putting those colors together,
That's just a natural marriage.
just a pure coincidence that's also my favorite football team's color, and is the best combination that you can make out of two colors. But
Is that really setting them up for success, though?
having an excellent that's
Ryan,
a good
shush.
point.
Ryan with the
Luckily-
self-burn.
Luckily, he can only wear one Mawashi at a time. So,
very good.
so whether it's his brilliant gold or brilliant purple, I think Endo almost always is the guy that comes to mind for me when I think stylish Mawashi. Some other guys that were in that conversation, Tochinoshin has always had the brilliant purple. Mitakayumi's has been very consistent with his red. Shodai's always had the shiny blue. That one's nice. I just think Endo has to take it for style points here.
I like it. I'll allow it.
Yep. I like a Rikishi who's not afraid to change up his Mawashi. So
Yeah,
I like
and
it a
somehow it still looked just as good.
lot. Yes.
Unlike Oh No Show, there was that tournament a year or two ago where he switched to a different color Mawashi. Yeah, he had always been red. Then he switched to like blue, lost like 4 matches in a row, switched back to red, and then won a bunch of matches. So like that guy clearly has some serious weird Mawashi energy going on. But and Endo's is always on point. And the worst one is the same as one that I picked earlier, Tokushoryu, just because of the way it fits him. As long as we're talking pure aesthetics, that is the worst aesthetics for me.
I would say that Mawashi's doing double duty.
It's seen some things, man.
It's probably the one that's closest to breaking.
Jake here with a quick editor's note. Due to some technical difficulties, we lost a few seconds of audio here. When we come back, Mac is going to be talking about who has the best Kesho Mawashi, or decorative apron used for ring entrances.
Something that is going to be just out there and wow, and make you think, ooh, who's this guy? What is this? What does this represent? I submit for your viewing pleasure, Sada Naomi's Kesho Mawashi.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's
It's like
nice,
a
Oni.
samurai on our bridge.
Right,
Yeah.
holding swords. There are several more in his hand, and he's dressed in full battle armor, just waiting on a bridge. Now, what says more than I'm here? I am going. You will not pass. I will beat your ass.
And I mean
there.
that's just a throwback to like an OG Grand Sumo breakdown bit about which Rikishi do you want standing on your bridge. So I think that's the
dang.
absolute perfect choice. And it coming from Sada Naomi just shatters me as a human. but-
Right? I was looking through the list. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. And then I hit Sada Naomi. I was like, whoa. The only one that came close, I submit for your viewing pleasure, would be Hokuto Fuji's. Just for the sheer colors, the contrast, and the idea that this guy is above Mount Fuji.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
a
cool.
flying dragon above cherry blossom trees. How beautiful, how elegant, and a dragon, a revered mythical beast above Mount Fuji, the symbol of Japan. Okay, that's pretty badass. But no, clearly, the man on the bridge holding the sword is just like, nope, you're not going to pass me.
For this podcast, there is no other option.
And just in case there was any doubt, I have another picture for you. Also, Sada Naomi.
Not that one.
What's that mascot called? It's the cartoon bear with the big red cheeks.
Sexual harassment panda.
So at some point, Sada Naomi had a different Kesho Mawashi that was just plain green with that silly looking bear with the big red cheeks on it, and that's the whole thing. So apparently, I just realized that Sada Naomi is the Kesho Mawashi king of all time.
Yeah.
Takayasu
then,
had a silly one with Charlie Chaplin on it for some.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious. I think Chiyotairyu has ultimate muscle on his currently right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah. I found a picture of that. That's pretty funny.
For worst Kesho Mawashi, avert your well, they're gonna burn after this, so just be warned. Shodai.
Oh, that
yeah.
sucks.
Right? It's plain. It's just, I mean, it's got lettering, which is okay, but there's nothing there. There's nothing to inspire any level of fear, any level of confidence. But green, gold, I mean, what is this?
Well, one, that color scheme sucks. I hate-
Right?
Yeah, nobody likes green and gold. Ugh, indeed. Oh wait, I found a Reddit thread discussing Kesho Mawashis, and they say the name of the guy that's on Sada Naomi's the bear thing. It's
who is
Kumamon.
There you go.
All right, bear something.
Kumamon. Yeah. So that's apparently the name of the bear. But yeah, so Shodai is
The
just out
bear's
there.
name is Bear.
Shodai is out there wearing the flag of Libya with just pure, plain, boring green. That inspires nothing. I
Exactly.
totally agree. That is a good find.
Yep, that sounds like Shodai. Inspires
I knew
nothing.
you would agree, Fleric.
All right.
I mean, I'm fiercely neutral. I'm sorry. Oh, so hard to remember.
That
It's
scans.
It's too late, Fleric. You already spite chose Shodai, so we'd have to incinerate the rest of his body.
Ooh, I have one other one that that needs to be brought up. That was Kisano Sato when he was a Yokozuna and he wore the Fist of the North Star Kesho Mawashi set with his two attendants. That was badass.
That
AF.
was good.
All right, so we move on to apparently a controversial category as we go to the Tegetana, which is when you do like the knife chops before you grab the prize money. So, Jake, what is your issue with this category?
I like your comments there, Jake. Like, huh?
The entirety of the text that I put for this category that you, Ryan, determined needed to be a category for discussion. The entirety of my notes is just WTF. Like, come on. I can picture like one, and that's Hakuho.
Boom.
Like, no.
Winner.
Come on. This is not a category.
Wait, what?
Move on to the next one. Let's talk about something that has to do with anything.
I've noticed the difference in how people do it. Some people do it really intensely, which is I imagine what we would want our godlike Rikishi
Fine,
to
one
do.
of those guys.
And then others just like barely move their hands, and it's really wimpy and sad. But all right, hey,
It
we'll move
also
on.
this category double offends me because the other reason it doesn't matter is because you have to beat Hakuho in order to do the thing.
Well, fair enough.
So how does picking a style of swinging your hand around to pick up money, how does that help you beat Hakuho?
You're right, and without any of these parts, how are we going to beat Hakuho?
Oh god damn it! The Ishiura flexing picture again.
If we didn't actually choose anything from Ishiura, we have no chance of beating Hakuho, and therefore we can't do this. Something we can do in every match is the salt throw. I offer up a single image for best and worst.
Is it that GIF?
No.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
So obviously, the second most slam dunkiest of all slam dunks, Teruto Yoshi, for the best salt throw. And then the one bad thing you could say about Ura is the dude throws 2 grains of salt, just underhanded, doesn't even care, into the dohyo. It's very uninspiring. And so that Ura is the worst salt thrower. There's not much more that needs to be said on this category. Unless somebody has anybody else, we can move on, I think.
There's a GIF on r/sumo. I'm gonna find out what the title is. It's something like there's 2 types of sumo wrestlers, or something like that. And it's Teruto Yoshi and somebody else, where Teruto Yoshi throws the big old pile of salt and everybody cheers. And then the other guy just drops a few.
Yep.
But yeah, in GIF form, this category is hilarious as well.
All right, Fleric, who has our best pre-match hype up?
All right. When I thought of this, it immediately went to the good old retired Asashoryu of the best pre-match hype, which unfortunately he escaped to Mongolia, so we can't steal his pre-match hype. But no, you should check out a video sometime. He kind of did a thing where he's kind of like slapped his belt like really intensely, and it just there was like this cool video of him versus Hakuho, and it got me hyped up right away. Say what you want about Asashoryu, but he definitely brought some entertainment into his matches. So, but unfortunately, we can't use that. So, because he got away. After that, it gets a little rough. I was thinking Takayasu is obviously someone we have to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has the kind of shoulder like thing he does. I think he's still doing that, right? Or did he stop?
I'm not sure. I think him and Kodo Shogiku have both kind of gone away from their signature motions.
It's good you mentioned Koto Shogaku because that was the next one I brought up. The Koto Bar or whatever the thing where he just kind of leaned back and kind of did kind of a cool stretch thing right before he would. It was something he used to do all the time when he was Ozeki, but once he dropped down, I guess he decided like I no longer do that anymore. So, which is I think was pretty cool. And I think Koto Shogaku is the winner of. I don't know. The Takayasu one's really, really cool.
Have you seen
what do you guys think?
Teruto Yoshi recently doing his, not just the salt throw, but recently he has also stepped up the intensity, similar to like not quite to a, insane psychopath kind of Asashoryu startup, but like he's started doing a little bit more intense stuff at the beginning. He was the guy that came to mind for me.
The aggressiveness,
Teratsuyoshi.
the intensity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Terutsuyoshi's kind of he may just have realized that like in addition to the salt throw, the intensity, the stuff that he does that's different than other people is kind of getting him extra attention, and moving his way up the Bansuke certainly doesn't hurt the ego either. So I think that's probably a more recent development for him, but it's been pretty cool to watch.
I second Jake's choice there because like the Nato sumo videos has started showing like the pre-match hype ups, and Teratsuyoshi is a big standout from everybody else.
Very interesting. All right, I think I'm gonna take your guys' word for it and go with Teratsuyoshi then. I'm gonna have to look up a video of that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and for the worst, it's once again Ura because I understand I understand what he's going for. I'm gonna beat you anyways, but it just does not get me hyped.
Man,
He is
Ura
far
is
too adorable to be threatening in any fashion.
No
Mhm.
kidding.
Ura's just racking up the worsts in like the non-body part area.
He could probably be near the bottom of the list for legs as well.
True.
Yeah, I was thinking legs. Actually, feet will probably be pretty solid because he did like that kind of running around sumo when he was up in the Makuuchi.
He's not healthy below the waist, but he's definitely very agile and got excellent balance. And like Enho, he's always had a crazy deep bag of tricks to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our Rikishi, as well as being amazing and the best he can be on the doyo, in sumo, it's not just about on the doyo. You got to have that hinkaku, that dignity off the doyo as well. So, Mac, whose dignity are we stealing from them and injecting straight into the veins of our god Rikishi?
At this point, based off of what we've seen with Twitter, but unfortunately in other social media sources, it doesn't look like there's all that much that's going on currently. I would have to give it to Shodai. He seems like he's done well. He seems at this point to have been good-natured, a good sport about everything, and clearly getting his ass handed to him by Hakuho and smiling afterward. I'm like, all right, that's kind of what you want. You're still climbing the ranks. And of course, when the best that ever was or will be is beating your ass, like, yeah, a smile definitely warranted.
All I know is that my gut tells me maybe.
So,
Yes, very dignified, very hinkaku there, Fleric.
Yes, fiercely neutral.
I think about an hour and 20 minutes into this podcast is far too late for our first mention of the other Yokozuna.
Wait, who? There's another one?
But
I was gonna say Kaku's
I would
pretty
say-
solid.
I would say Kakdyu.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the leader of the Rikishi Kai, the player union, whatever thing is. He says nice stuff. He doesn't get into any controversies.
I think Shodai is a great choice as well, and given time, he would be at the same level as Kakdyu, but Kakdyu has been doing it for so long.
I guess my only issue with Kakuryu, and I'm fine going with him, is just I've never heard either way about him. I do love that he's been spending more time at home, taking care of the family. That's great. I don't know how awesome that is for sumo matches, but just that dignity of, I you know what? You would be better suited for that, Ryan. Tell me, what is it like to be a dad?
Tell us the mysteries of fatherhood.
Yes, indeed.
It takes a lot of patience. That's the big thing with a month and a half old. Pretty much just be patient and just kind of learn their patterns and figure out, like, if I hold you like this, you fall asleep instantly. But if I move you 10 degrees to the left, then you're yelling in my ear and won't stop for 30 minutes. And so you got to be patient with that. So it's a lot of patience. And I mean,
And figuring out the angles.
And figuring out the correct
All
angle
about the angles
to hold your baby.
That's why Ryan carries a protractor around whenever he's walking Riley around.
Yeah.
And a gyro. He just has his gyroscope just ready to go. Like, all right, we're good.
One other nominee that I would have, not necessarily, I guess I'm not positive what this means for his like official Hinkaku score, that he's got off the dohyo, but Kaisei is a very nice dude.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that he does that stands out, because not everybody does this, he always makes the extra effort to make sure that people do not fall off the dohyo if they don't have to. And he always sticks around to help people up if they're willing to accept the help.
Yeah, I've seen that, so I can vouch for it. Vouch for it.
All right, I'll give an honorable mention then to Kaise, but we've taken enough from him. I think, as Ryan said, we have to throw the other Yokozuna that's in there.
Yeah.
All right.
And then for worst, I would thank you for correcting me there, Ryan. For worst, I would have to go with the dumbass of the year, Abi.
Yep.
Yeah, not a lot of competition currently. Like, obviously, there have been other scandals in the past, but that's definitely the most recent one. And
Most
of them are
Hokuto Fuji.
Haruma Fuji?
Oh, sorry, Haruma Fuji. I'm so sorry. I was
Yeah, what did I
reading
miss?
Some of our lists. Yeah, I'm reading the wrong part of the list.
But yeah, like that being the most recent scandal for sure, that's a big deal. And it's one where there's no mitigating factors like tempers flared or, things where it might not necessarily be 100% crystal clear, that this was a stupid, completely avoidable thing that he did. But for Abi, yeah, it was a stupid, completely avoidable thing that he did. He just went out to party because he wanted to.
Right.
All right. The next thing we need to make sure our God Rikishi has, he's got to have good interview skills. He can't just be saying, yes, I'll try my best to do my brand of sumo. Yes. We don't want that. We need a little bit of personality, a little bit of pizzazz. And I think
you need more than that.
You need more Kaisei in your life.
no. What we need is somebody like our Hatsu Yusho winner, Toku Shoryu, who that's a
I
man
like it.
who answered the questions as honestly as you could hope. He was very candid with all of the answers that he gave. It wasn't just your normal canned responses. It was what you would expect from a man who's been doing this for 10 plus years and finally broke through and is actually worth something now. And he wants to share that moment with everybody. So we're going to go with the excited Toku Shoryu. And then worst, I mean, it's like a tie between like 30 other people. But because the Sumo Kaboom podcast called him out for it recently, he sticks out in my mind. But Endo just gives the most canned responses of canned responses.
I think that's very accurate.
Yeah.
For an honorable mention, I'd say Hakuho because he always manages to do some silly faux pas that gets him more attention.
Like
He knows how to get attention, but
ring.
well, I mean, like in his interview, like remember when he like had people clap wrong?
Oh
and,
yeah.
and that was just deeply offensive to everyone.
All right, and then we have one final category, and probably the most important category, and that is fighting spirit. Jake, whose sumo essence are we stealing from their soul and infusing it into our Rikishi?
I would like to add that I added this category after seeing that I was assigned how does the guy grab the prize money for a category.
It's important. It shows character.
You know what shows character better? Their actual character of how they fight in the ring.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you don't have to be an ass.
I'm going to anyways, as is tradition. For the best fighting spirit, somebody who under no circumstances allows themselves to give up, somebody who fights till the very end and tries everything that they possibly can. I think Enho is got to be my first pick here. No matter what, Enho has one more thing that he wants to try. It doesn't matter if he's already airborne. He has something that he's attempting. And yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't. I don't think he has any special prizes for fighting spirit, right?
No,
but
he has one technique prize, I believe.
Yeah, there you go. But the fighting spirit prize is not awarded based on who fights the hardest. It's a lot about how many wins you get and the situation that that your basho as a whole takes. But if we're talking on a match by match basis, Enho is got to be the guy that I think never ever gives up and always stays in it until the very end, better than anybody. Some other guys that I was thinking about, I don't know what you guys think, but Hokuto Fuji is kind of like this. He's very emotional. He always tries, we talked about it as a bad thing earlier.
But I was actually going to bring up Hokuto Fuji, someone who never gives up. is I would probably say Hokuto Fuji.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps trying.
Yeah, and even if he's just trying harder rather than trying something different that might work better, he's still trying super hard. Teruto Yoshi is more in the Enho school of fighting spirit in that he's got a lot of weird stuff that he wants to do. But yeah, that recent intensity that he has found has translated into the ring for sure. And of course, Hakuho, we always have to bring up Hakuho. Being the most competitive human being that has ever lived, Hakuho will take every slight personally. He will it will make him that much angrier and that much more motivation for him to try and beat the shit out of you.
Yes.
I think we've already taken the brain of Hakuho and to also take his fighting spirit. This is just not going to be a match. So
Yeah.
we'll let Hakuho keep that. And yeah, I think those are two good choices, Enho and Hokuto Fuji. Just guys. I mean, everybody's always trying to go for the win, but I mean, you're going to bring it up for the worst. There's also the guys that just give up at the end, and you can see it. Enho, Hokuto Fuji will never give up. They will sacrifice their body if it means they have a better chance of winning the match.
And on the exact opposite end of that spectrum, who does not ever sacrifice their body just on the off chance they might come back? That'd be Ichinojo.
Yeah.
It's probably better for his career long term that he says
Self-preservation.
I don't need to battle to the death for this win. I'm already on the edge. I'll just give up and step out. It's probably better for his career long term as a big guy that any single fall from the dohyo could be his last. Wow, that sounded a lot more ominous than I meant it to be. But you know what I mean? It could hurt him. So yeah, he gives up on the edge, and that's okay. I mean, I get it, but it's definitely not the fighting spirit we want in our ultimate wrestler.
Mm-mm.
So that's gonna wrap up our creation of the perfect Rikishi. Should
we do a rundown?
Yeah, let's do a quick rundown. So for the hair, the luscious locks of Takayasu, the brain, Hakuho, the best mind that sumo has ever seen, the face, Tobizaru with the expressions galore, the sideburns of Chiyo Tairyu doing his best Elvis impression, the neck of Hokuto Fuji with the most insane traps you've ever seen, the shoulders of Tochinoshin with the strength to lift giants, the arms of Terano Fuji to keep men at bay to never grab your mawashi, the hands of Asanoyama for when you get a grip on somebody's mawashi, they cannot escape you, the chest of Ichinojo because it's really big, the belly of Kodo Shokiku, the best weapon that we have seen in sumo in the past decade, the back hair of Kaisei to send the Rikishi running in disgust.
And keep you warm.
Yes.
And keep you warm. The ass of Takeda Fuji that you could grind diamonds upon. The legs of Hoshoryu, which are weapons all on their own, unlike any other Rikishi you will ever see. The feet of somehow not Endo, but Tokushoryu to keep you alive when you're at the edge of the Tawara. And you could, I mean, Tokushoryu is one of Yusho. How many does Endo have? Boom.
Exactly. They never stop scooting.
That's going to remain a 3-1 vote forever.
The Tachi of Teritsuyoshi to always leave you guessing. You never know where he's going to come from. The Mawashi of Endo looking better than anybody else in the dohyo. The Kesho Mawashi of Sadanoumi, particularly the one with the man on the bridge. For the intimidation factor, and it's kind of a callback to Grand Sumo Breakdown as well.
Boom.
And also the bear one.
And the bear.
Yeah. The salt throw of Teritsuyoshi showing like, hey, I'm super rich. I've got plenty of salt. I don't need this. Because salt used to be a sign like back in the olden days of like money and wealth and stuff. Yeah.
I always think of him as very wealthy. Yeah.
Yeah. the pre-match hype up of also Teritsuyoshi, the intensity that he brings to every bout, but with the same calm demeanor of Kakuryu off the dohyo to know that he is a good person, that his on dohyo murders did not show who he truly is as a man. The post-fight interview skills of Tokushoryu to always be an entertainer and to give every ounce of himself to the people and the fighting spirit of Enho, the smallest man in every fight, but always the biggest fight in every fight. Enho, we want that fighting spirit even as we have created this huge monstrosity.
Friggin' love it. This guy can kill anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out, Hakuho.
He's coming.
So we did steal Hakuho's brain. So that matchup against Hakuho, I think we'll just have to shift Kakuryu's brain over to Hakuho's and just make do.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I guess what we're getting at there is we think we have constructed a better body to go against. You know, if the brain is equal, if the technique is all the same, then I think we have constructed a horrid dinosaur abomination that would be better than Hakuho.
A titan, if you will.
But just to rub salt in the wound, we also took his brain just to be sure.
Yes. And still like at best 50-50.
Yeah. And we also created a terrible Rikishi that will probably still beat Hattori Sakura. Let's be honest with ourselves. I think we failed on
Very
that.
true.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of cleanup to do. We have a lot of incinerating to do. I think Fleric, turn the lights off when you're done. The rest of us will go grab something to eat. So while we're doing that, and if you enjoy,
You guys want sausages, right?
I will.
Maybe we
pass.
should get takeout.
Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed our spooky Halloween edition. Woo!
Don't do that again.
We cut up and killed people. So much blood. Woo! So if you enjoy the mass murder of many people, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You should hopefully someone, not me, is going to be posting some pictures that we looked at today. So
It will be
take a
5
look
pictures of Ishiro flexing.
Flexing.
Perfect.
Our blog is grandsumo.breakdown.wordpress.com, where I believe we have our first purely blog post ever. Where Mac wrote about the Consorts Cup, a smaller sumo event that happened in the United States that Mac watched a lot of video on, and wrote out an excellent article on the results and what goes into a contest like this, and how you can get involved and how you can learn more about these.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO!
Halloween!
Ooh.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time, throw your salt high
And keep moving forward.
Boo.
Ah!